all the people on Facebook just saw you live on the big screen with Baba Ras D, learning about your journey, learning about who you are, learning about what you've been through, the loss of your brother to gun violence, your other brother to the criminal justice system. It's such an amazing story. We've known each other for, I think, probably close to 17, 18 years now. Can you tell us about how you're feeling in this moment after watching the movie again and seeing all those moments strung together?
Man, listen, it was surreal to me. First of all, when we started shooting the movie, it was so long ago. Like it took us years and years to shoot this movie because I was in and out of state. So every time I came back, it was a fresh moment and feeling because I haven't seen people in a long time. But to watch it on TV, I even seen clips like when my dad was talking in the living room. I never seen that footage of the stuff he said when he was crying and stuff. So that was new to me. Um, so it was surreal. It was surreal seeing myself on the screen. I was bigger then too, so it was a different version of me. I was 160 pounds bigger at the time. So just seeing that and seeing how young I was and my kids able to see it, my daughter seeing herself on there at 2 years old and she 8 now. So just to still be a part of this is an amazing thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it really, like I said, when I say it changed my life, a lot of people say things change their life and they don't mean it, but this is something that has changed my life and stayed a part of my life since I was 14 years old and now I'm 34. So that's 20 years of family, friendship, love, wisdom, mentoring. Got to be grateful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Marcus, your story is so special. It's so important that it's told. Marcus, meeting you, as in the film, it's very clear. Like meeting you was a great pivotal moment in my life. I was just right out of college. I was a young community organizer and activist and educator. And actually, Baba Ras D, who was here spotlighted on the video, Baba Ras D was one of my mentors and continues to be one of my mentors. I met Baba Ras D while doing street organizing, and Baba Ras D took me by the hand. To the way you said, I took you by the hand, and he said, young brother, you have so many gifts to offer the world. I had never met anyone in my life that had believed in me more than Baba Ras D. And Baba Ras
That's
D
a
didn't even
fact.
know me, but he believed in me for whatever reason. And his belief and trust in me allowed me to become the man I am today. Baba Ras D, I would love for you to share some words as you've been doing this work of Harambe, of healing, of working with kids, working with youth. You are just a magnet of positivity. I think you might have just seen the movie for the first time tonight. And I'm very curious to know how the film has hit you. How do you feel after seeing our stories woven together over 20 years and being right here now?
Well, I first want to say I would like to veggie back off of pop culture, my brother Marcus. And I would like to say that the movie was a profound inspiration for me. And being such significance to my growth and my level upment at that time and to this time, I had tears of joy like Marcus's father. And I'm so grateful for Marcus at such a young age, at 14, choosing what was probably something that he, as well as others, gave birth to, maybe a little bit prior to that. And that is the significance of when we are faced with tragedy. In order to triumph over tragedy, one must use a skill, and it's a skill called emotional intelligence. And in that level of skill development, Marcus showed the ability to stay in his light, even during the time of extreme triple darkness, mentally, physically, and spiritually. He was able to be taken on a journey with one common unity where he experienced a soul retrieval. He was able to retrieve his soul in such a way using creativity as an alternative to violence. And that allowed him to gain a new perspective on life. The word sound has power. And not only word sound has power, inside of the tongue is the power of life and death. And so Marcus chose life over death, love over hate, good over evil, and light over darkness. And we bear witness to that at such a tender young age, at 14, to be teachable, to use pain and transmute it with love and light. And it brought us all a full joy to witness him struggle with it, but his identity leadership as a light worker, one who can now testify to the ability to fly by light, to transmute darkness with thought life, ability to use your mind over the matter and not the matter over the mind. That is an ability to stay in your light. That is a skill set. And Marcus had a young age. He had the emotional maturity to accept the courage to do the shadow work that we oftentimes run from for a lifetime. He faced the shadow work early in his life. And with your assistance and with the program's assistance, he used compassionate communication and he developed creative expression. And he showcased a love and a gift and an art that it healed our heart. And so I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that he is now having children, that he can plant that inspiration into a next generation, and that he can show that world as being a Black man, a Black father, a Black husband, a Black artist. He's a natural born leader, not a natural born killer, but a natural born leader. It's his birthright. As the young man, it is his birthright to be a natural born leader and to inherit his throne as the king of his home, as the king of his own, and as the king of his dome. So I hold a meditation of love, Baba Hawa, for you. I hold a meditation of light for the family, Kimberly. I hold a meditation of love for the one common unity community, where we all are looking forward to staying in our light. And at times when we're faced with challenge, we know that the light is where we must hold on, where we must see, and we must continue to walk by faith and not by the sight. Even at the darkest hour of midnight, it is called first light. So a new day starts at the darkest hour of night. It's called midnight. So we must understand the midnight of our lives. We have to be like Marcus, more courageous to be the light, more courageous to see the light, more courageous to speak the light, more courageous to walk with light, spread the light, share the light. And as I say always, stay in your light.
Wow. Baba, as always, you inspire, you ignite, and you remind us of our pure potential and our gifts. You said so many things just now, and I first of all, I want to welcome people that are signing in on live Facebook. You are here at the community conversation, the post documentary discussion. We just premiered The Melody Lingers On, a brand new documentary film made and directed by Kimberly Williams, who will be joining us in a few minutes. Shot and photography and some cinematography by Kristen Adair from Unchained Stories. She'll also be joining us in a few minutes. At the moment, we have Marcus Morgan, the youth, then youth, now grown adult man, father of 3, husband, who's also here joining us for the community conversation. We have Baba Ross D, mentor, a youth educator, musician, artist, recording artist, and here in the conversation, you have Hawa, myself. I am the co-founder, the former CEO and executive director, now founder emeritus at One Common Unity. And this is a proud moment for me as I am transitioning from the mantle of leadership into a space of coming back into alignment with my gifts as an educator and as a public speaker and as a poet and a writer, things that I miss, and things that brought me to Marcus to begin with. Baba, you said something really powerful around our tears. And there was a moment in the film that we just watched where Marcus, you were mentioning when we were doing some of that hands-on work, and we were with permission working in like on destigmatizing touch between men of color, specifically brown and black men who have for so long been told that touch is something that we can't do with each other. And then you mentioned the tears and how tears are so difficult for men to have permission to cry. I want to ask you a personal question, and it's a question about when was the last time you have opened those tear ducts? When was the last time you have cried? And tell us about what it might have been about.
Well, probably July, the last time I really cried was recently. Me and my wife was actually having a conversation because I was just going through a tough time personally, you know what I'm saying? And she was going through a tough time personally. So we was having trouble being there for each other because we both was going through our own thing. So we was having trouble connecting with each other and being an emotional comfort for each other because we was both going through our own thing. So I had just broke down to her and just was like, yo, I'm going through it. I'm weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And she had to let me know, like, she's going through it. So we got to figure it out together type thing. So that was the last time I opened them up, other than, you know, every year my brother's anniversary, you know, when I think about him on July 17th. My son in here, he's going crazy. I'm trying to stay away from the kids. But yeah, the tear ducts, you gotta open them up, man. And being physical with each other is very important. Like I was reading a research study that said 8 hugs a day literally can keep a person alive. Like just somebody receiving 8 hugs a day. And then I be thinking like, it's people out here that don't even get 1 hug. So if the amount is 8 and you're not even getting 1, you know what I'm saying? Imagine what that person is going through. You know what I'm saying? Where sometimes a person don't want to be talked to or they don't need advice. They need to just be touched. And then we just take too much time trying to tell somebody what to do instead of just holding and saying, whenever you're ready to talk, I'm here. But right now, you just feel like you need some good energy exchanged to you. And I'm glad that the program taught me that because, of course, growing up, you know, my dad hugged me, but that's not the same as like when you out with your homeboys and it's like, oh, you just dapping each other up, but you know you having a bad day and you need something more than that. You know what I'm saying? And the program taught me and that it's okay. It's okay to give your fellow brother a hug, especially after my brother died and my dad broke down in front of me. That was the first time I seen my dad cry when my brother died. I never seen my dad cry my whole life. To the point like that, you know what I'm saying? That he just explained to me like, you know, men can be emotional. You know, even though you never see me cry, it's because I had to be the leader of the house. I had to go work hard. I had to go make sure the bills was paid, so I couldn't show that weakness. But behind closed doors, I cry all the time, son. You know what I'm saying? So that along with, you know, just being one with yourself, man, understanding it's okay. This world is fake. You only as real as what you think you are and how you move out here. You can't be what anybody else wants you to be. You can't mimic what you see on social media. You can't try to be the cool kid. Cool is being you, man. Cool is being you. You know, I'm like I said, I made it 20 extra years because I realized I just needed to be myself instead of trying to be with whoever else wanted me to be. I made it 20 extra years to the point I got a wife, 3 kids, own businesses, you know what I'm saying? Because I just like, I need to do me. When I know I need to take time to meditate, I take time to meditate. When I need to calm my kids down, I teach them how to breathe, stuff like that. So the documentary and breathing and tears and everything, you need these things. We have been taught not to be emotional as men because we got to be alpha males, but trust, it's hard work being a man out here. So you got to take your time and rejuvenate yourself, empty your emotions out, just figure out a way to do it where you're not out here being violent and stuff like that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Marcus. Baba Razdi, you know, this film talks a lot about grief and trauma. So much loss in our communities. You know, we're losing people right now from not just gun violence, but from poverty. We're losing people to the trauma of intergenerational racism, systemic racism. Uh, you're out here every day, Baba, working and healing and mending these broken hearts. For you, can you talk to us a little bit about the power of music and art and how it's been a vessel for you to be the ambassador of light that you are today? And what are some ways that you think we can continue to be bridges to create a bridge over the troubled water, so to say? How do you think we can continue to heal our communities?
We can never underestimate the power of love, especially the power of love within. And everyone must trust without suspicion one's own intuition. At this moment in time, because of the toxic level of the matrix, a lot of people are hurting. And so hurt people are hurting people on a massive level. And it's coming in a disguise at time with best practices for economic growth and development, or societal industrial growth and development. But it's at the expense of the decay in human morality. So we have become, as a family of humanity, immune to human immorality. And as such, the condition is where hurt people are now hurting people based on emotional immaturity and lack of creative self-expression. So with the program now giving a platform for young adults who may be in the inner city struggling with a nonviolent expression, choosing nonviolent communication, choosing compassionate communication, choosing effective communication versus non-effective communication, they are learning skills. They are learning skills to help them balance emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And so the program is designed with the heart in mind. And that is where art resides. Even in the word heart, you have the word art. You cannot have the word heart without spelling the word art. So the art of the heart space is where we craft a new mindset, and the children are able to transmute pain with love. And the power of self-love becomes a part of the healing process, where they begin to realize self-care is healthcare. And as a part of the self-healing process, they are able to become in tune with their own rhythm. And once they begin to balance their own rhythm, they then begin to express their own voice. And their own voice comes out with a melody in harmony with the voices inside of one common unity. So music is a backdrop for the transformation of the mind to live now by divine design. And light now takes over. And love now covers the entire circle of one common unity. And we are free to express our creativity. And that way, the children are able to now meditate, as Marcus said. With that meditation, they use music to elevate. And in that elevation, it's there they find the inspiration to live, to restore hope, to restore dreams, and to know that there's a future, bright as Marcus, where you have a family that you will inherit. If you make it on the other side of that pain, you again, children of tomorrow, If you make it on the other side of that pain, you will gain a wife of your desire. And if you make it on the other side of that pain, you will gain a life of purpose. Marcus is a primary example of the ability to rise above the violence by choosing to use his infinite creativity and creative self-expression as an alternative to violence. So I love the fact that the program of One Common Unity assists the children of tomorrow to the ability to learn to become peacemakers, peacekeepers, peace activists, and most importantly, peace ambassadors, where they can begin to pass the peace and not the frustration. Yeah, pass the peace and not the frustration. Pass the peace and not the frustration. That is the inspiration behind the film. And that is the foundation from the heart of Marcus that I am so inspired to see the future generation continue to be peace ambassadors, with music leading the way to give ones and ones ability to walk in rhythm and with one common unity, with one common goal. Yeah, we live on one world and we all are here as one spirit soul. So I give thanks. What an inspiration to see and what a joy to behold the works of Sister Kimberly. I am so honored to be a part of it and to have been captured. Really and truly, it is a blessing upon blessing upon blessing. So the music must always be remembered as life. Music is life, and life is music. So Marcus shows us with music saved his life to produce more life. Yeah, music saved his life to inherit more life and to inspire more life. So we give thanks for life, Marcus. We give thanks for life. Stay up, my brother. Stay inspired and continue to shine and stay in your light. I love you forever, as big as the blue sky.
Always, always, King. Don't have me crying on here, man.
Yo, we're talking about opening those tear ducts, Marcus. Baba gonna have us open our tear ducts every time. I wanna just once again just say pass the peace so the peace can increase. Pass the peace so the peace can increase. And Baba Razdi, you brought that mantra to me a long time ago. I've always held it deep in my heart ever since. We have an important moment right now. We have Kimberly on deck with Kristen, Kimberly, the director of the movie, Kristen, the cinematographer that did a lot of the filming back in 2015 or 16 when we first started filming Marcus again. And before I open this cipher to Kimberly and Kristen to join the cipher, I want to just take a moment to honor the circular nature of One Common Unity, because we also have at this moment, we have Makua Ray here in this video. And it would be a missed opportunity to not recognize the relationship that this brother, Makua Ray, also has to Revolution, which was One Common Unity's very first youth development program. Back in 2002, when we launched it, this brother, Makua Ray, co-founder of One Common Unity, my soul brother, somebody that's been a deep and beautiful inspiration in my life. Also a mentor to Marcus, also a dear friend of Baba Rasti. And I also want to name that this current assembly of people, we are brown and black identifying males at the moment here, that in the movie, for those that just watched the documentary and watched The Melody Lingers On, you saw some powerful circles with brown and black men, young men, youth coming together, crying, healing, doing work around toxic masculinity and misogyny that is often not done enough, nor are there opportunities for men to express ourselves. And often we shield ourselves from our emotions. And I think this is a powerful moment before we bring Kimberly and Kristen in to welcome Makua and to take a moment to talk about what our responsibility is as men, as male identifying humans in this world of that's unfortunately been crumbling under the weight of toxic patriarchy. What is our role as men in shepherding a new era of empowerment for all beings? So Makua, welcome. Maybe you could say some words. Say hello to Marcus, of course.
Wow, yeah, I just want to say, I hope you can hear me. Am I audible here?
You are
Yeah.
very
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. All right, thank you so much. And I just want to start out by saying thank you, Kimberly and OCU and Hawa and your guidance for that amazing film. And Marcus, thank you for your inspiration and the testimony on film. Truly, truly, this is a moment. So I give thanks. I just want to really acknowledge that. Peace to your family. So grateful just to see you in this now moment as well. So, wow. So many things to say, but I would also just want to point out today is actually the literal 21st anniversary since OCU's very first event 21 years ago today, the Alternatives to Violence Rally and Festival at 13th and V Street in DC. That really ignited the momentum, and here we are now, and it's just such an honor to be here in company with you all. And I would just say to your question, I mean, really, Baba Rasti touched on this, and I would just extend to say love and serve. You know, that's what's required of us men now and always. Love and serve, really. And to be present and to, you know, show up in our hearts in service. Ready and willing to learn, you know, ready and willing to grow. And from that place in the heart, lead from the heart, let love lead. So love and serve, really. That's going to land with everybody in their own unique way. But whatever that means to you, truly, for your own soul, for your loved ones, your family, your community. So I just want to thank you all, and thank you for allowing me a chance to peek in and participate in this moment, this wonderful, beautiful moment. Really an honor.
Thank you, Baba Makua. Baba Razdi performed at that Alternatives to Violence rally and festival 21 years ago on U Street. Makua, thank you for reminding us of our history. We should never forget where we came from and what has ushered us into this moment. What a powerful serendipity that the Melody Lingers On is also released on the same day as our very first Alternatives to Violence rally and festival. Makua, honestly, like, I didn't even connect that dot until you just said it. Like, it was in the back of my brain, so far in the back of my brain that I didn't even connect that dot till this moment, which is wild. I'm thinking of the postcard right now that says "Violence Good" in the corner, and I remember designing that with you, like deciding on like where to put things, and here we are, full circle. I want to bring in now the director of the film, Kimberly Williams, and I want to bring in also one of our. Let's start with Kimberly before I bring in Kristen. Let's bring you guys in one at a time. We're going to keep this as a cipher with Baba Razdi, with Marcus, and with this beautiful, incredible human, so creative, so talented, such a huge heart, one of the most kindest souls I've ever met. Kimberly, you brought this project through to the finish line. Tell us why. What made you so committed? You know, for those that are filmmakers, you know how hard it is to finish a documentary. This is like, it's not an easy thing to take something and be like, okay, this is done. Kimberly, why were you so committed? What was it that wouldn't let you put this film down? Tell us, talk to us.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you. It's an honor to be in this room with you all, and Hawa and Baba Rasti and Makua and Marcus. And Marcus's dad is in the room, whom I love dearly. Myron, you know, when I was at that retreat, and I was at that retreat, but not as a filmmaker in 2015. And I was a fly on the wall. And when I saw Kristen following Marcus around with a camera, I was naturally going, what's this about? You know? And not going to interfere, not going to go, hey, I'm a filmmaker, let me help you, because I was there as somebody else. So that was a blessing, because I got to just be in observance of how powerful the retreats are. And then Marcus was there, and then Marcus busts out a song called Unity, and he's like, this is written for OCU. And then when he sang that song, I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm going to make that music video. Come hell or high water, that song is for me to do a music video for. And then when we did that, after the music video was done, you know, in 2017, 2018, I was like, we have all this footage of this incredible journey, and we have to do something with it. And I remember saying that to you, How. I remember saying, what, we have to do something with this footage. So it might as well be me. And, you know, just kept going at it while in between the other things, you know, just kept whittling away at the story. And it's, you know, a labor of love for days, because at the end of it, and you said, why, what is it about this? And, you know, at the end of the day, it's a visual testimony to what it's all about, right? Doing the work and being in the retreats and the youth coming together and learning about who they are together and using music as a way to heal. And it's just like, it's mind blowing, and nobody gets to see it unless you're there. And you had the vision to want to film Fly By Light. And then when Marcus came back, you had the vision to ask somebody to help film his story. And it's just a continuation of this amazing testimony. That's the only word I can think of. And even though I'm a participant by, you know, gluing all the pieces together, it's been my pleasure, and like I said, my honor to, you know, witness the beauty of all of the things that have come together. You know, Baba and you and Marcus and the retreat and Fly By Light, all of it. It's just, I can't get enough of it, because it's so important, and I want to share that with the world. And I hope that's what this film does.
Thank you, Kimberly. I mean, that's so beautifully put and said. And I also want to name that, if I remember correctly, it was either this retreat or the retreat after, that was called The Journey of Generations. It was called Fly By Light, The Journey of Generations. And it was an intergenerational retreat. And we had elders, we had youth, we had some children. And I'm looking at Marcus right now with his little one in his arms. I'm seeing Myron, I'm seeing your video right now, Marcus's father here. And at some point, we're gonna have to bring you in here and show the generations. We got the grandfather, we got the granddaughter, we got Marcus, the bridge. So Myron, please be on deck if that's all right, because I think it's gonna be a powerful moment for the world to see the journey of generations collectively returning here on October 21st, 21 years later. Kimberly, as a filmmaker and as somebody that becomes really close to these stories, I was mentioning to a friend earlier today that this film was like 90 minutes and we had to cut it down, and we kept cutting it down and how hard that was.
Oh yeah.
Tell all the people watching right now about some of the footage that we had to cut out in order to make the film sort of tighter and shorter, so that it would be digestible in film festival formats and all those things that we have to do. Tell us about some of the footage that we lost that you felt really sad about having to cut out the film. I know this question you weren't expecting, but you know, that's how I roll, Kimberly. Tell us, give us some of the snippets of what it is that broke your heart to take out of the film. Well,
I mean, the retreat was a week long, you know, and there's a lot of moments. You know, they're like, the one that sticks out at me the most is the brother-led circles. And the brother-led circle was especially powerful, where all these young men were in a room together with their mentors and talking about the things that they never were able to discuss in person, or especially around other men. And I mean, just tears, you know, were flowing, and the power of that to, you know, want to share, but not be able to, it was hard. That's hard. Of course, Marcus can spit a rhyme on the drop of a hat, you know, and he had a lot of words of wisdom to talk about his experience. And I had a lot of Marcus explaining a lot of things, and I had to cut out a lot of his words of wisdom, which was hard for me to do. Yeah, you know, but at the end of the day, when you're a filmmaker, you kind of learn to like let things go, because you know that it's better if it's more cohesive. And so I hope maybe that we could go revisit some of the footage and make little vignettes or something down the road. That would be great. That would be great. But you know, it's been a while since I actually finished editing, so I'm not as sad anymore, because I've watched it in its completion now probably about 50 times, and I love it. I love the film, and I love exactly what it says and does.
It's a beautiful film, Kimberly, that you created. And
Thank
thank you for creating this gift for the world and for all of us. Marcus, Kimberly just talked about the brother-led circle. And as soon as she said it, I just got transported back to that room. We were in the cafeteria area. We had our brother circle there. And man, that was probably the most powerful, one of the most powerful moments of that whole retreat for me. Can you recollect any of that, Marcus? Can you? And I was talking about toxic masculinity earlier, and like just what our responsibility as men in this world. Can you tell us like what came up for you in that brother-led circle?
What came up for me was understanding that I wasn't the only young man that felt like how I felt at that age. Understanding that the world don't see how tough our young men are out here. How tough these young boys really is, how tough these young boys really hold in their emotions and try to be strong for their families. Like some of them was talking like they was the husband of the household, and they 13 years old and they trying to figure out how to make sure they mama good. And I was like, dang, that's how I was talking. Or they dealing with stuff like, how do I deal with bullying in school? You know, I don't want to fight, but I feel like I got to prove myself and all these things. And it was just like, wow, like it's really that tough for them. But just 2 hours ago, they was laughing and all that, like life was all good. But these kids really, really is dealing with things, you know what I'm saying, that some of us adults not even dealing with, you know, and that's what made me understand, like, okay, I got to kind of deal with things and handle things a little better at my age. Because if they can walk around here and put on this smile like this, like, I'm talking about some of them was living in like foster homes and just, it was amazing to hear them talk about their stories for the first time. Like that was the most comfortable they felt with us. They not even tell these stories to their parents yet. You know what I'm saying? So it was mind blowing. It was mind blowing to me to see kids that strong. And like Baba Ross said, like, I didn't even know I was that strong at that age. You know what I'm saying? So for me to look at them, it was like, okay, that's what they seen in me. So I haven't had a brother-led circle like that since then. I wish me and my older friends would do stuff like that. But, you know, it was amazing. It was amazing, man. And I got to say one thing, because if I don't say this, it's going to hurt my feelings. Kimberly, I have to bow to Kimberly. Hawa, listen, she followed me. Not see, people just see her following me in DC. When I tell you off camera, Kimberly was talking to me while I was living in LA to get this thing done. Kimberly was talking to me while I was living in Arizona. Everywhere I moved, she found me, she contacted me. We have to get this done. And I swear I praise her and I tip my hat to her because she did not let up on me. Like my second mama. Where you at? You in Arizona? We'll get back so we can shoot some more. And where you at? You in Florida? Get back. Like, so she was on it. She was on it tenfold like a drill sergeant, man.
That's Kimberly's power as a filmmaker, her gift. But it's also who Kimberly is as a person. I want to call in that, like, Kimberly just cares so deeply about people, you know, and I think her superpower is her ability to keep keep people connected and to connect with
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Because she was partly doing that because of the film, but she was also doing that because she cares about you. And she wants
No,
to
she was hit.
you all
She
the time.
hit me sometimes and don't even talk about the film. She just hit me to talk to the kids.
Yeah, exactly. Kimberly's good like that. It's such a gift you have, Kimberly.
Thank
Barbara
you.
Ross, you've known Kimberly for a long time. And since Kimberly, Kimberly has brought this story to life, and Kristen, you're on deck, so make sure you're kind of ready, because I'm gonna be calling you in a few minutes. And I want to thank all of those that have been tuning in through Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Please start leaving comments. Feel free to leave questions in the chat for our filmmakers, for our film stars, for our story, and for what we're sharing tonight, which is really just pouring out from the heart. Tag us, reshare this video, let people know we're out here doing this important work, because we choose what will get on the airwaves and what will not get on the airwaves through our voice and through our fingers and what buttons we push. Baba Raz D, there's been for a long time, there's been a lot of music that has been promoted, music that promotes capitalism and greed and violence, and this is the music that often pollutes or dilutes the beautiful potential and compassion of our youth and our families. It's sort of music that's been very much harmful and promoting violence, and for some reason it's the music that sells. And Baba Raz D, you make music that is very, very opposite to this. Your music is of high resonance, high vibration, and for some reason, our mainstream world and culture hasn't caught up, or for some reason hasn't latched on to positive, high vibration music. And instead we keep getting pulled into the music that's kind of defeating and harming our communities through the messages that are being promoted. Baba Ross, why do you think that is? Why do you think music that harms is being lifted up more than music that heals?
Music is being right now manipulated. So ones are ones who have the power. They think that what sells would be what is going to fulfill that emotional need for something that's going to give them excitement, to be entertained. Not entertained, but entertained, to be given an attractive distraction. But you see, music is life, So, although ones and ones may have opened up a frequency within the music itself, that's just a small frequency. That frequency can be a gateway for them to get exposure to a broader frequency. And as they expand their broadband and their bandwidth with music, they will begin to become able to see the healing frequencies of music. They exist beyond the boundaries of just one genre of hip hop or whatever one may be confined to. Not saying that hip hop has not saying that it solely has locked itself into a frequency that gives attention to your lower sensory gratification. I'm saying to you that all music can be used to inspire and lift one's higher, or music can be used to bring about one's lower desire, okay? All genre of music can bring forth that reality, but it's a balance. So we have to seek the balance. I sometimes listen to the music that you would say, or one would say, has a low frequency, but it doesn't make me feel like I have to go out and act out of character. It just makes me aware of the frequency that is out there that's inspiring the people. I have to meet them where they are. I have to meet humanity where humanity is in order for me to lead humanity where they must go. Right? So I have to be inspired still by the music that I may find myself not agreeing with personally, but I still can find inspiration in the melody. I still can find inspiration in the lyrics, but I can still find inspiration in the colors that the message is trying to bring. But I don't have to have that being my identity leadership, okay? But now I must say I have to be hardcore. When you talk about misogynistic issue and the man not being able to understand how touch with compassion is healing. Now, in that circle that you demonstrated with men able to touch men, you may have discovered in your ability to touch, through touch, you now have a healing ability. You now have a healing power that can send you on a next level or journey where you can become a healing practitioner of the healing arts through touch. As a child, as a young man, as a young counselor, or as a servant leader, through these exercises of touch, we can demonstrate our levels of compassion, our level of energy exchange, where we can remove toxic pain and stiffness and stress, just based on the intention behind touch. And even one thing you're going to level up on tonight is that you can do that and share that energy through Reiki and not even have to touch the body. So now that exercise now takes on the next level where we begin to show energy exchange and the healing potential of our touch. So if one is uncomfortable with the touch and does not feel that's something they wish to give permission to, we can introduce them to Reiki to let them know that even placing our hand with the right intention over the body can give you the energy of light, to cover you in light, to allow your energy now to absorb on a cellular level. Cellular level, you can transmute the pain into love. You can transmute the darkness into light. You can transmute the hate into love. These are the powers that we have with touch. So now music is ability to touch the spirit soul. And with that power, we have to allow ourselves to know what we want to enter into our spirit soul, what we want to digest on a soul level, because that controls every part of our body, of our being, of our thought life. So when you take on the energy of music, you want to be inspired so it can take you higher, above that which you have to stress about, above that which you have to feel you lack. Music is about giving you hope, as we said earlier, restoration of dreams, restoration of light, giving us what we call insight. And when we insight the light, we become inspired to go through the night, knowing that the sun will rise. And before our very eyes, hope once again has come to the rescue with a new day, a new time, a new season. And this time, it's time to rise and shine.
Rebel youth shine. Rebel youth shine. Rebel youth shine.
There's one of the elders,
Rise
that
and
Rebel Youth
shine.
Shining.
Rebel youth
Pop
shine.
culture, Rebel Youth Shine. It's time.
For
I
those,
shine because you shine. I shine because we shine.
Rebel,
We shine
rebel,
'cause I
you,
shine.
shine, shine.
rebel youth shine, shine. For everybody that's joining us, this is Baba Rafi, youth educator, recording artist, beacon of light to the world, Harambe, facilitator. We've got Marcus Morgan here, graduate of One Common Unity's Rebel Youth Shine program back almost 15 years ago. We just premiered The Melody Lingers On, the documentary film directed by Kimberly Williams, filmmaker who's also here. joining us on the talk back. If you have questions, please leave them in the chat. If you have inspiration, share button and share this on your timelines so that other people can get this magic. And please help spread the word. One Common Unity, we're celebrating 21 years of service in the community, healing communities, empowering communities and individuals through music, arts, and education, social emotional learning, mindfulness, arts therapy, mental health. We worked with over 30,000 youth and families over 21 years. At the moment, we're in over 20 schools throughout Washington, D.C. The program that Marcus graduated from, called Revel Youth Shine, has been reincarnated into our new flagship program called Fly by Light. And there's a documentary film that put this organization on the map in 2015 when we released it at the National Geographic Theater in DC. That film is called Fly by Light. You can get that film on Amazon Prime. You can get that film from our website, onecommonunity.org. I want to shout out all the great work behind the scenes so far from Kristen Benani, who's been doing all the magic with coordinating tonight. And then all the people that are joining us, our development team, Brittany and Sarah are here coordinating what is going to be our 21-year anniversary gala happening in December, called Close the Gap. Close the Gap. We're going to put those links into the Facebook comments. We're going to paste those links into the Zoom. We want all of you to join us for the upcoming events that are all tied into our year of closing the gap of inequity within education, within healthcare, inequities within poverty, and wealth disparity in our country, inequities that exist within our political and social systems and the access thereof. So please stay connected, follow us, like us, push this out. I'm going to now bring in to the space Kristen Adair. She's going to be joining Kimberly Williams. And Kimberly, I want you to stay and keep joining this juicy conversation, but I want to call Kristen, you into the space. When you joined One Common Unity, you were a grad student. I remember me connecting through the yoga community in DC, and you were like, Hawa, I know about your work at OCU. I'm doing this film program and I need an internship. You got room for me? And all of you that know me in the community, I never turned down an opportunity for collaboration and partnership. So Kristen, we joined forces. I told you about the retreat we were doing in 2015 called The Journey of Generations. You came on board to film and to start getting the initial footage that Kimberly then took and started editing and then building off of, but you were there. I also want to introduce you to the community, Kristen, as an incredible, not just documentary filmmaker and multimedia artist, but you have a background in law and advocacy, and you've had a lifelong commitment to social justice work. Your new company is called Unchained Stories, and you're lighting the country up on fire right now with your work. I am so proud of you. It's been so great to see you just taking these stories to the world that are untold. Say hi to us. Tell us what you're doing these days. Tell us about your connection to this film, and tell us about what you're feeling in this moment.
Thanks so much, Hawa. It is so good to see you all, Hawa and Marcus. Oh my goodness, it's been way too long, and I saw Myron on there, Baba Rasti. It's so good to see you all. Thank you so much for having me. This film, it's been such a journey. Kimberly and I, whenever we talk about it, we just, and Hawa, you know, it's just been a journey because it was such a little seed of an idea. I was in grad school in the summer, and Hawa, who, you know, I was really already connected to many of the folks in the community, in OCU, through the yoga community, and you know, Hawa told me about the retreat, as he said, and I said, yeah, I want to be a part of that. Let's do it. And, you know, I was a newer filmmaker, certainly at the time, and didn't really understand what I was taking on with this week-long retreat to film, you know, by myself. But it was just this little seed of an idea. And I thought, oh, maybe we're going to make a short. We're going to make a 5 or 10 minute short about this retreat, and it's going to be amazing. And then it really just, you know, getting there, meeting Marcus, all the young people, being in that space, just the power of the stories, as Kimberly referenced, just so many moments, day after day of moments of circle conversations. And I had the great privilege to just be in some of these moments with just Marcus and one or two of the young people, just really sitting with them and guiding them and dropping wisdom. And it was so powerful. And it's such a privilege to and then there was was like, we have all this footage and what now? And I was in school and didn't have the capacity to sort of edit it, and I thought it was just going to go into the archive, like what's going to happen to it. And then Kimberly, who I met on that retreat and now is a dear friend and collaborator of mine as well, stepped in, and then this was born. And we kept shooting. We filmed some additional things over the next couple of years, and still it was sort of a process, and Kimberly just made so much magic with it, and I've seen it in a number of iterations over these years, and it's just so beautiful in its finished form. So what I want to say is that, along the way, I started a production company, and I'm really focused on justice work and film and storytelling through the lens of abolition and healing and transformative justice. And, a lot of those seeds really, those seeds were there, but a lot of so many lessons from this project, from that summer, from the time with Marcus and Hawa and the rest of the crew, the rest of the facilitators and the young people, just really immersed in this environment of just deep collaboration in the way that, the young people were in the film, they were at the retreat, they were in the film, and they were also part of it. At some point, one of the young people would have the camera or the microphone, and Marcus would say, let's do this, let's do that. And we were all just sort of co-creating this experience, and being part of it as we were capturing it and just creating. There was just creativity flowing all the time, everywhere. Sometimes I was like holding a camera and playing a drum at the same time. I don't know how I even did that, but and so I've carried that with me. I've carried that with me as I have really built my work around collaboration, around social justice, around working with young people and folks who are directly impacted by systems of oppression. That it's the stories and it's the creative. I love this art of the heart. This is it. This is what we do as filmmakers and as creators and as musicians and all of the creative spirits that we have in this space. So it's been a journey, but I've carried this project and this time that we spent, and now so many years ago, it feels like, with me to the present and beyond.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Kimberly, you unmuted yourself. Did you want to follow up on that?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, if it hadn't been for Kristen's eye and dedication to following the subject, which was Marcus, but also all the other storylines, like, this film wouldn't exist. And, not only is she passionate about social justice and all of the issues that are, in the film, as far as the stories that are important that we're trying to tell, she's a beautiful artist. And so when I saw this footage, I was like, oh my gosh, like, there's so much to work with, so it made it easier because it wasn't just one person talking all the time. It was all this beautiful footage that needed to be woven together. And so I'm immensely grateful for Kristen's not only artistic eye, but also love of, the issues and the social justice issues that need to be told here and stuff. So anyway, yeah, I just want to say thanks, Kristen, for doing so much and for filming so much.
So much beautiful cinematography. And we also have Ellie Walton here. Just want to name that I see you, Ellie, and in this space. Ellie Walton she creates a trifecta here of so I think my favorite filmmakers clearly in DC. Ellie is an old dear friend of mine. She is also the director of the Fly By Light movie, which is a movie I referenced about a half an hour ago, which really put One Common Unity on the map. And I do want to just kind of bring this question back over to you, Kimberly, and you, Kristen. And I've spoken to Ellie about this, about how important it is that we can tell our stories. I spent 13 years trying to fundraise and build this organization. And there was a few things that happened around 2015 which shifted the calculus. And one of them was the release of this documentary movie. And this movie told our story in such a way that was impossible to tell over paper and pen and text in a grant application, which is what we normally just do. We write 12-page grant applications and hope somebody funds us. And then here was this 60-minute documentary that people were watching, and then people were reaching out to me and calling me and being like, hey, like what you do is incredible. How do we support you? It changed the conversation, because what we do, what One Common Unity does, is really hard to communicate unless you experience it, right? Like what we do is not normal. You know, like we don't do regular educational programming. It's very unique, and the work, it's hard to understand unless you see it. And so Kristen, Kimberly, you tell these stories. And Kristen, I'm wondering if you could tell us about a project you're currently working on with Unchained Stories, and tell us a little bit about your new company and the kind of stories you're telling, and maybe one of the stories that you're working on now. And then after you, Kristen, Kimberly, I'd love for you to tell us about a story that you're excited about telling that you haven't told yet, because I do think there's an important time for us to reclaim our stories and tell the stories that have not been told, or that have been told in ways that are not accurate, which is often the case. So Kristen, I'm going to pop that to you, and then to Kimberly.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That's a great question. I think what you said is exactly right. You know, there's the approach of just writing about the work and grant applications. And also, I mean, there's video everywhere, right? There's video and out on social media all the time from organizations. And sometimes I see it, and it's you know, an executive director or sitting in their office talking about the work that they do. And they're like, oh, somebody told us to make video, so we made video, here it is, you know, and nothing against doing great work, right? But the way that OCU has told the story of their work is really through the eyes and the voices of the people who it is impacting, through the young people most often. And that's also how I take the approach to my work, which is really in deep collaboration to say, I have this tool, I have some tools here, but I haven't lived the experience that you have lived. And, you know, let's talk together, let's come together and think about how we create, how we immerse someone who's outside of this community into your experience, your work, and what you're doing, and we do that together, right? And I think that's the power, and that was the power of Fly by Light. And I had seen, of course, Fly by Light, and just wanted to be a part of what y'all were doing as well. And so, you know, I think that's the power of it, because people are just able to drop in and feel and experience what's happening on these retreats, for example, or in the other spaces that OCU is creating. And a project that I'm working on now that's really inspired by these ideas and by the experience that I had working on this project is a series of short stories about women leaders who are working around transformative justice models, and particularly thinking around alternatives to policing, looking at violence prevention models and alternatives to incarceration in their communities. And earlier this year, I had the opportunity to film with some folks in DC who many of us know, with Cure the Streets and LaShawna Thompson L and others. And then also in New Orleans, where some women are doing incredible work with an organization called Operation Restoration, around just breaking the cycles of incarceration for women in communities there. And also in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where a community organization, some incredible women leaders are really looking at how they shift their community from a place where there's a lot of violence to a place where they're building community wealth, and women in particular and families are able to thrive there. And so I am so grateful to have the opportunity to drop into those experiences and those stories and collaborate with those women and really really talk with them about how do we show other people what you're doing? How do you want your story to be seen? And how do we amplify these models that you're creating and these visions that you have from within the community, from your own personal experience? And so I'm really excited about that project. And I'm doing a lot of work actually with women leaders in the justice space now, which is really exciting. So yeah, I think that there's so much power in the way that OCU has been telling stories over these many years, and through the voices of young people, going all the way back. When I saw that footage from Revolution with Little Marcus, and that was just, like this has been the voices of the young people telling these stories from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we did before film, right? I mean, when Revolution was launched in 2002, we didn't have the iPhones and we didn't have access to the cameras that shot good enough footage for TVs were like too expensive for us to put in people's hands, and they were too big and bulky. So we were doing CDs. We did 4 or 5 musical CDs, which were youth driven, youth produced, youth curated music and songs that they would write during our summer programs. Marcus is on like 3 of those youth CDs, and then we would like get those CDs out into the community. People don't even listen to CDs anymore, but that was how we were having the young people tell their stories. That's always been the DNA of One Common Unity, was like youth voices, stories that are not told. How do we tell those brave, vulnerable, courageous stories about what's possible when we invest in each other, when we invest in our dreams, when we believe in those around us? How does that just shift the trajectory of someone's life? And then we have Marcus here, whose life has gone in a completely different direction because of the mentors that he had in his life. I mean, it's just a testament to what to the solution. It's sometimes it feels so overwhelming. We're like, well, where do we start? It's so big. The problem is so massive. But then it's just like, actually, let's just come back to the basics. It's not rocket science. It's actually the simple things that we just need to be doing for each other in community. And these stories, it begins with the stories and getting back to our stories. Kimberly, I'm going to have you say a few words here, and then I'm going to ask Myron to come in on the video to complete that journey of generations. And then we're going to wrap up and close this event tonight. I want to thank all of you that are tuning in, Facebook Live, YouTube. Pop in some questions. We might have time for 1 or 2 more before we close out. Kimberly, please tell us about a story that you're excited to tell or are telling.
Well, you mentioned Ellie, first of all, and you mentioned Fly by Light, and that's what brought me into the fold of One Common Unity in the first place. I saw it in 2015 and I said, I need to be a part of this. And that was my goal. And so now, full circle, here we are, 6.5 years later. And I'm so grateful because I've learned so much, not only just about storytelling, because as you said, like One Common Unity, it's hard to define what this organization's about. And that's been my mission for the last 5 years, is to try to like really help people understand what it's about nowadays too, especially with our mental health and programming and everything that we do. And so there's so many things. First of all, I've met the most amazing people through One Common Unity, and my time on the East Coast has been 22 years now. And I've met healers and yogis and musicians and from all walks of life, from all over the world. And I'm inspired continually by that. But it's, my work it's through the lens of the environmental aspect of One Common Unity's pillar, environmental stewardship, that helped to really like propel my feelings about nature and healing. Nature as a healer, and art as a healer. And so the project that I'm working on now is trying to show the connection between horses and people, and how horses are a connection to the universe, the creative universe, to God as I know it. And so wanting to share that connection through showing how horses are used for healing. That's where I am at right now. It's in the beginning process, but I'm very excited about it. And, still interested in showing how we're going to keep expanding One Common Unity's reach in the world and showing how there are dogs that bark too. Just trying to keep telling the story so that more people can get access to the information and what we do.
Thank you both for your beautiful work in telling these stories, and please don't stop telling these stories and creating spaces for those to share their stories. I'm gonna start the wind down here. Once again, those that are online and tuned in through live Facebook or YouTube, please click on the Close the Gap page and join us in this end of the year fundraising initiative to help us provide more important programming for vulnerable youth and families. We have a mental health program. We also have our flagship Fly by Light youth program. We're serving thousands of youth and families around the city. We are our own small institution now after 21 years. And it's a beautiful thing. We need your support. We cannot do it without the community. We can't do it without all of you. I want to bring it full circle to Myron. Baba Rasti, you may as well get Zoom back in as well. Kristen is doing all the magic back there, but let's get Myron into this Zoom view, because this is just so beautiful to see you, brother. Myron with Marcus, and then Baba Ras D just kind of completing this beautiful circle. You can keep Kristen in here with us too. Unless that's too much, Kristen. I don't know if we can have 6 videos at once. Maybe that is too much. Hey, Pops, what's going on? It's great to see you.
Hey, how's everybody, man? Great job, all that was involved. I'm doing okay for a young man. I won't complain.
Yeah.
I won't complain. And I was just looking at the my grandson and my granddaughter and my son, and how far he has come, and the great work that One Common Unity and Rebel Youth Shine has done. I still have those CDs that's here with me now. And Marcus, he said it. I still play that music. You know what I mean? Because music is healing. It is healing. And I grew up listening to all types of music, so I just love the work that was done, Christian and Kimberly, and, just the zealous effort that they put forth, man. And you all, Hawa, man, I know your plight, man. And I knew, when you all started on Rhode Island Avenue, man, it was like, wow. And I knew that Marcus, he needed that. He needed that healing, that process, at that time, especially, with the murder of my son and my oldest son, who was, incarcerated. Man, as a father, I still had, multiple little people in different attitudes that I had to deal with, with my daughters and my other children. So I had to try to stay firm on some foundation, but at the same time give them opportunity to seek where they needed to seek to get that healing process, and not all of them will visit the grave site, and I understand that. So I have to be the one to intervene and step in and go visit that grave site and communicate, because I see all the evidence and all the spiritual healing and the ancestors every day when I step outside my door. I mean, some people think I'm a little weird because I see the blue jays and the cardinals and different birds, and I talk to the squirrels and just different things that I do. I can't speak for no one else, but I know that it's healing. But I just appreciate it, man. I think that the premiere of the film, and I was excited because I had almost kind of remembered it, but I had put it in the back of my mind. I remember the work being done, and it turned out great. It was fantastic, man. And everyone that's on this platform, man, has has touched me because you all have touched Marcus. And Baba Ross, he said it, you know, I can feel that energy even coming through this format, you know, and forgive me, I'm a little fuzzy because I'm on a bad older laptop, but that's just for me, man. I feel the energy, I feel it here, you know. If you was here, you could see the goose pimples that's on my arms right now, and just to be on this platform and receiving this energy from you all, because you have transformed my son, you know what I mean, who is so talented, and he is so talented. And I would say this because out of all of my children, he is the most gifted one of all. And I used to always tell him, son, you got a gift, got to use it. You got to use it, you know. And I appreciate you all giving the platforms. And I just want to say that because it was another mentor that came that was part of Revolution, and I got an opportunity to see him at Bethesda Blues, which is Mike Phillips. And after the show, I went up to him and I said, I showed him a picture of Marcus with one of those old Revolution. He said, I remember him, you know, and, you know, it was just so gratifying to hear that, you know, and even when he has escalated to where he is as a musician and as an artist, you know, for him to remember Marcus, you know, and I just appreciate you all, man. I have so much love and gratification right now. I'm just overwhelmed, you know, just, you know, being able to see that, because I have sent out the emails, the texts, and I just wanted everyone to see this. My friends and people that may not call me their friends, I sent it to them too. So, you know, hey. But thank you so much, man. I love you all. Thank you so much.
Oh, blessings, blessings. Thank you, Baba Myron. I feel like there could not be a more better way to end with your words as the father of Marcus, as the grandfather of Marcus's children, coming here full circle. I just want to say, like, this moment is so profound for me and those that are listening and watching that have been able to follow my journey for the past 21 years. I've had a huge life transition last week, where I finally have handed off the leadership of the organization, and I'm moving into a new chapter of my life. Always will be involved with one common unity, always will be involved, but involved in new ways, ways that are different than how I've been involved in the daily operations in the past. And this moment in time where Marcus is coming full circle, it's a reminder. And we all need reminders. It's a reminder for why we continue to do this work. It works. This work works. It's real, it's tangible, and it's right in front of us. And it's just, you know, for me, it's the reason I'm living. You know, it's the reason this moment gives me hope to keep pushing on, because, you know, the resiliency and the tenacity that's needed for peace building in our world is real. And this moment shows what's possible. You know, Marcus, seeing you there with your children, brother, that just like brings a light into my life, man, that I can't even put words to, you know. It really does. I don't know if you have any final words here before we close out, Marcus, but you got anything you want to say?
First of all, Dad, it's so dope to see you in this joint. My dad literally dragged me out the house, out the bed one morning and was like, I'm taking you down the street to this program. I'm like, oh, this program attached to the church. Ain't nobody talking to the church program. Nobody trying to be no church program for the summertime. But I really can honestly say it was one of the best decisions my dad had ever made for me. You know what I'm saying? Outside of all the endeavors that he has, and one of the best decisions he made is to still be a super amazing father with all the endeavors that he had. We never missed no meal. We never not had shelter. Even through his darkest moments, he made us smile. So when I say my dad is a superhero, I gotta say my dad is a superhero, because not too many people give their dad their honor. My mom, superhero too, but my dad, to this day. I mean, it's not a day that goes by where he doesn't hit my phone and make sure I'm good and make sure I'm breathing and sane and like everything. The program made me appreciate my dad more. You know, having other older men to tell me things outside of my dad where I didn't take it for granted because it was my dad. So it made me appreciate my father more and seeing the relationship that y'all had when y'all was around my dad. It was just even doper. Like, my dad is really fucking dope. You know what I mean? Oh, I cursed, I'm sorry. But my dad is amazing. I just wanted to say that and also say, Hawa, thank you. When I met you, even though you were fresh out of college, you felt like a whole father figure to me. Kristen, I didn't even give you your flowers. I have to. Kristen was another person that was on my line. I don't care where I was at in the country. She was calling me. She was DMing me. She was sending me footage, sending me questionnaires to fill out, all types of things. She wasn't letting up. So I have to salute those two women, you know, my sisters forever, 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 forever. Hawa, you know what it is. Baba Razdi, that's like grandpa right there. You know, Makua, oh, it was good to see Matthew in here. I got to call him by his original name. It was good to see him in here. But yeah, so that's it, man. I just wanted to say thank everybody that viewed it. This is 20 years in the making, literally 14 years old when I started this program. I'm 34 years now, going on 35. So I'm technically 21-year anniversary too. And I just wanted to leave y'all with some words, man, just to say, where all this started from was me just having the thought of all the things that we was going through, man. Just seeing my dad struggle, my mom struggle, but still make sure we had everything we needed, you know, and everything we wanted. I can't even front. The things we wanted, they made sure we had too. So, you know, when I tell my story and write my music, it's always from a perspective of something that I've seen, I've lived, or I've witnessed, or I've had a close friend that go through. So, you know, just like the verse in One Common Unity, when I say, have you ever seen the pain in the eyes of a child who is hungry, or the fear in the father's heart who can't provide with the money, or the pain in a mama's stomach knowing that it'll never coming, and the scars hurt her feet because she just tired of running. We need one common unity. We need one common goal. One bright light shining down one dark road. We all are one people, only one on the globe, as one common unity, marching down one road.
Yeah.
So that's an inspiration of me seeing my dad, you know, had those days where he had to choose between paying a bill and feeding us, and he'll feed us first and figure it out later. And my mom, knowing that she got 4 kids and they trying to figure it out, and they both was 2 strong Black people that figured it out for their children, for themselves, their best friends to this day, and I love it. And I love you guys, man. I really appreciate everybody that's in this room. I wouldn't be here without you guys. Every last one of y'all, it really takes a village. And I have my village, and my village is here. My children got a village now.
Yes.
Love you, Dad. I love you, Bob.
This is the village, one common unity. Marcus, you wrote the theme song, and maybe one day your young children will also be in our youth program. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, tuning in from all around. And thanks to the ones for holding Marcus's feet to the fire. You keep your pops honest over there. And we're around and we're here. You can find us online. You can find us on social media. You can register for our Close the Gap event on December 21st, our big gala and celebration. We've got Mumu Fresh, Mamuna appearing. It's gonna be emceed by Little Bacon Bear. We've got Monica Dogra, Baba Ross D is gonna be performing. We've got other names. We got Senator Bernie Sanders that's giving us a big shout out.
Say it again, Hardwire, excuse me.
Senator Bernie Sanders.
No, what's
again? I hope I'm not cutting out, but yeah, so just please check out the Close the Gap event, December 21st. You can register online, click the link that is dropped into the Facebook comments. Visit us online, be a part of the magic, invest in peace, invest in your communities, invest in this work and in the stories that have not been told, and invest in the music and art that's going to heal the world. Thank you for joining us. My name is Hawa. And it's my privilege and honor to be here tonight with all of you. Thank you, Baba Rasti. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Myron. Thank you for all that have joined tonight. We will see you on the next Light, Fly by Light. Keep singing that theme song, y'all. We will we'll be connecting with you soon. Good night. Take care of one another. Peace.
Junkie man, junkie man.
Say, hey, Papa.
Hi, Papa.
Say, hey, Hawa.
Hello.
These are the outtakes.
We out. Peace.
We out.